I want to tell you about some problems that we've had, issues, challenges when we moved here from Ohio to Florida. I know some of you are thinking about moving, and these are things that you are either not thinking about or you have and you've encountered some problems. The very first thing was trying to get an apartment while you're living in another state. It's very tricky. They want you to have a job in order to get the apartment, but employers are not hiring unless you're in Florida, and you can't move to Florida unless you have an apartment. So here's what happened with us. Thankfully, our apartment that we got in Sarasota allowed us to use our job that we already had, but the thing was they wanted to have savings or 401k in the amount of 6 months to 1 year's worth of rent, which is quite a bit. Thankfully, we had a 401k and a little bit of savings. Very helpful. They wanted the first month, last month, I think. I don't remember about the last month. Definitely first month and a deposit. You need some money to move. It's not that easy. Yes, you could find people who rent out their houses that won't ask for all that, but just be very careful that you don't get scammed. A lot of scamming going on down here, especially on Craigslist. The other thing was trying to get the logistics of it all timed out just right. Thankfully, we were downsizing for 2-3 years before, so we got rid of most of our stuff before we left, but we still had more stuff that we couldn't take with us. So we took whatever we couldn't sell to consignment shops, and I ended up keep getting checks for like 2-3 years afterwards, which was nice. It's still in business. It's a really good consignment shop. Donated a bunch of stuff. Thankfully, our neighbor kept a lot more stuff because they had a really big yard sale, so they sold some more things for us. And we had a pod. Yes, it was very expensive, but it was the easiest, less stressful for us because they put it in our driveway. We filled it up, closed it up, and we told them what day we wanted to pick it up and deliver it to our apartment. We did arrive at our apartment a few days early. Thankfully, they let us stay at one of their apartments that was furnished because our apartment wasn't ready yet. If not, we would have had to stay at a hotel. So the timing is something you don't think about, by days. It could be just days, but what do you do for those days? You're not going to sleep in your car, or you can if you're single. But when you got 2 kids and a dog, and that may not work out. And before you leave, you have to call all your credit cards. You have to call your banks and let them know what your new address is, your new phone number. If you're switching your phone number, let them know you are moving and that you want to be able to make sure you don't have any problems with your debit cards, credit cards. And they'll tell you, oh, no problem, we took care of it, it's taken care of. Don't believe it. Have cash, plenty of it. I'm serious, like a good month in your hand, in your pocket, not in the ATM, not in the bank, in your pockets. And I tell you why, because it happened to us. We moved down here and we went to go buy a couch at Big Lots. It was like the first day in our new apartment. We just wanted a cheap couch. We didn't know how long we were going to stay there. We got like a $300 couch, and actually it was one of our nicest couches I've had. I paid a lot of money on couches, and they weren't always so great. So anywho, there I am standing in line with my debit card, and it wouldn't go through. It's a little embarrassing because they're going to think you don't have the money. We had the money. It's just that there was a fraud alert because we were shopping in Florida. And I don't know if Florida is a place where there's like Walmart, that happened to me too, a Walmart fraud alert, because they have such high fraud. I don't know if the state of Florida has this problem, and that's why it happened to us. I don't know, but we called everybody, gave them our information, our new address, everything, and I spent half an hour on the phone doing transfer, disconnected. You know how that is. Finally, they're like, okay, should go through, no problem. Okay, so the next day we went back, got the couch, no problem. But then I used it, we were at a restaurant. Didn't work. Of course, a little embarrassing. They're like, okay, this lady's trying to buy dinner with no money. I had the money. Thank God, again, cash. Cash talks. If you don't have any, I highly recommend that you find some before you move, because things like this happen that I never thought in a million years could happen. So yeah, before you leave, make sure you call your banks, let them know. Tell them all the states you're traveling through, so if you're trying to use it at the different states, that it's on record. You do the same when traveling. Make sure you close down all your utilities before you left your apartment or house that you are moving from, and let them know if there's any future, last bill, please mail it to my house at or my apartment at, and give them the address. Unless you go online to pay. Most people these days pay online, but you know what I mean. Just make sure everybody knows what's going on, because it'll help a little bit. You're still going to have a lot of struggles in this process, no matter how much you plan, because we planned. I had my notebooks. You know, I had the notes, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, you know, very, I thought it was very organized, and even with all that, I still had problems. Sometimes people don't do their jobs, or computers don't do their jobs, and cause you havoc in your life. And as soon as you get down here, get your driver's license. You'll probably be standing in line for 2 hours trying to get it. And call before you go, because it's not as easy as getting in line to get your driver's license. Especially if you're a woman, a married woman. I had to get my birth certificate. A man didn't have to do that. So if your birth certificate, if your name is different than what it is now, they want your birth certificate. They want your driver's license. They want your social security card. I don't know what else they wanted. It was like a list of several things. So call before and ask exactly what they want. I even had my passport with me. And it still wasn't good enough for them. They wanted that darn birth certificate. Oh, and I needed a marriage license. Why in the heck do they need all that? I understand about fraud and all that, but I have a passport. If I have a passport, how in the heck did I get that? So my point is, call, make sure you find out exactly what they want, so you're not standing in 2 lines and they say, oh, I'm sorry, you'll have to come back. Because that's happened to me before in my lifetime. Different things, can't remember what it was, but it has happened. If you have kids, you'll want to call the school that you're going to ahead of time. Make sure you register, because you don't want to find out that the school something is filled, or you just are in the wrong district and you realize that's not the school I want my kid to go to and I need to live over here. Even if you homeschool like we did, you need to find out the school district, because you need to send them a letter of intent saying we are homeschooling. So that's very important to do. The other thing is find out before you leave your state, before you come here, regarding your car insurance. Our car insurance up north was not down here. So we assumed we go with Allstate, because I had Allstate before. When we got here, Allstate was saying, now I don't know if it's changed, 6.5, 7 years ago. They were saying, we only take care of people that are grandfathered in, because a lot of insurance companies took off when all those hurricanes started hitting the area, and they were losing money along the coast in Florida, so they just got out of here as far as business. So they weren't taking on new customers. So, you know, I called several insurance companies, and they were like, no, we can't take anybody new. And State Farm thankfully took us, but oh, it's expensive, especially now with a teenager driving. It's expensive, car insurance. You'll want to definitely have house insurance. If you have a loan, the bank will make you have house insurance. If you don't have a house loan, like we don't have to have house insurance, but we do. There's no way I'm taking a chance on one of these. You don't even need a hurricane for your roof to fly off. Some of these storms are pretty huge. And I get upset because paying for this insurance and we never use it. The one day that you cancel, of course, is when your house will blow away. So not taking a chance on that. So call ahead who you think you might want to use. It's just like those steps out of the way, so when you get here, it's stressful enough trying to like unpack and try to get your life started. Try to get what you can done before you come here. The other big thing I've heard from a lot of people is they can't get a job unless they move here, like I was saying in the beginning of the video. But you can't move here because you don't have a job. It's a big circle. Now, I've talked to some people and they said try temp agencies, that they're a little more flexible and able to maybe get you a job temporarily. You could always switch. Take whatever job you can get. And then you could change your job once you're here. You just need a job, to get that apartment. Like I said, we were just lucky that they let us use the job because Rick still had a job when we were up north. Try to take care of that before you come, unless you have several months of cash on you, and that's not something you need to worry about. Now, if you're coming down and starting a business, I would recommend that you check the state website, and it will tell you exactly what you need for your business, a mobile business or other business, and which county. Every county is different, so you have your state. You need to get your business license and insured. Find out which company you're going to use for your insurance for your business. Those are all things you want to do before you get here. So when you get here, you could start off running. And just one of the other things, last things I'll mention, I'm sure there's plenty more. Sky's getting dark. Probably going to rain. It's very humid today. I don't mind. Feels like a warm heating blanket. I love it. You hear all those birds? Aren't they pretty? I don't get tired of it. I just love it. Wonder what they're saying. Anyways, let's go back to number 10 on my list. I think it's 10. Pets. If you have pets, again, if you know where you're going to live, call ahead of time. Check, reviews. Find out the best vet in your area. Down here where we are, there's even mobile vet. There's mobile everything. Mobile vet. I'm going to look into that. We have a vet down the street, great people and stuff, but sometimes it's just easier. And from what I see, they're not any more money. They'll come to you, take care of the shots and what you need, and bathe the dog if you wanted. We bathe our own dogs, but I'm going to look into that. Make sure your dog is already up to date on all shots, baby shots, because as soon as you get here, the moment you set foot in Florida, get a dog license. I don't know how many days you have. Make sure you have a license up there before you get here, because while you're traveling and something happens and your dog doesn't have his license, you can get into some kind of fine. I don't know if they could take your dog away. My God, that would be horrible. Make sure your apartment does accept dogs. What kind of dogs and what size dogs. Someone might forget to ask you, and then you show up with your big lab and they're like, no, you can't move in here. We only take small dogs. Or no, we only take cats. Or no, we don't accept pets at all. I'm assuming everybody knows this, but if you're younger and the first time moving out, you don't know. Everything I know is just from experience and lots of mistakes, running into things and tripping over things, and that's how I've learned, and asking other people. And thank God for YouTube for watching this video. I sure hope it helped. Thumbs up if it has. Please share, because who knows, it might help somebody else. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.